Any person who says he doesn't want to play for his country has got something radically wrong with him.
Can he go? Sullivan, can he go?
Heavy for the corner, Heavy! He'll score! But he does a bit of a bogey! Unbelievable! Davis, he's going for the corner! Skulldorp is over! Van Carney's in!
Oh, watch him fly! British Rugby League is strutting its stuff on the world stage again.
International Rugby League kicked off on the 25th of January 1908, with Hull's Harry Taylor inspiring the Northern Union to a 14-6 victory over New Zealand. Wigan winger Jim Latham scored the first ever try, and although the All Golds went on to win the series, the tour had been a success. The Kangaroos, led by the legendary Dally Messenger, who'd been part of that New Zealand tour, followed later that year with Welsh captain Bert Jenkins leading the Northern Union to impressive victories at Newcastle's St James's Park and Birmingham's Villa Park in the first ever Ashes series. 2 years on, and a squad of 26 players embarked on an inaugural tour of Australia and New Zealand. And it proved to be a huge success, with the Lions winning 10 out of their 14 matches, including their 2 test victories in Sydney and Brisbane. It would be 4 years until the next tour, but it was worth the wait, as the Lions won one of the most memorable matches ever played. Forced to play 3 test matches in a week, without 6 of their best players, and with only 9 men on the field at one stage, Harold Wagstaff's team rallied to victory against all the odds in the deciding match that would be forever remembered as the Rorke's Drift Test. This early dominance of the Northern Union continued well into the 1920s.
The state of international rugby league in the 20s and the 30s was at probably an all-time high, with massive crowds attracted to the games, especially in Australia, because it was quite something to see these men dressed in the red, white and blue, and also these pale warriors who used to come across by boat, and it was tremendous occasions. They were great contests, packed houses, particularly at the Sydney Cricket Ground. That became one of the sort of iconic stadiums of the rugby league world. And of course, Great Britain so dominant, winning every test series.
A successful tour of Australia in 1924 was followed by the arrival of the Kiwis 2 years later, who were making their only tour of England that decade. It was a time of the Great Depression, but not for English Rugby League, who inflicted a 3-0 whitewash on the tourists. The start of the 1930s was subdued as fans witnessed the only scoreless test match in history at Swinton's Station Road. Despite no points being scored, the game was still no place for the faint hearts, as England effectively sealed the Ashes following a first test triumph 2 months earlier. With the Kiwis beaten, it was Australia who felt the full force of the Pommies in 1932. In a tour that witnessed a world record crowd of over 70,000, Jim Sullivan's men sealed the Ashes in the third test at Sydney.
The huge crowd was confident that the Kangaroos were going to at last wrest the Ashes from the line, but it had reckoned without the dour, determined, fighting spirit of the English team. Seldom has such accuracy of handling and precision of teamwork been seen on a football field.
It was a wonderful game and played in a wonderful spirit, and I'm very proud to be the captain of this side that won the Ashes today.
After their success in Australia, Sullivan's side travelled on to New Zealand, where they were greeted with a traditional welcome. Four years elapsed until the Lions toured again, with Salford's Gus Risman captaining the side, who successfully retained the Ashes. The Second World War would prevent Britain from playing Test match rugby for 9 years, with Risman the only player to win a cap for the post-war Lions. The post-war years began with an historic triumph for Gus Risman's Lions team, who would go on to earn the nickname of the Indomitables after travelling down under on HMS Indomitable. They became the only touring side to remain unbeaten in winning the Ashes in Australia.
It was the cleverness of the British footballer, the speed of thought of the British footballer, the passing, the accuracy of the British footballer. Australia relied on power. Australia relied on big men, big forwards, power play in the centres, power play on the wings. But the British, they always had the football. Great era, a great era.
After their Ashes success in 1946, England became Great Britain. But the name change certainly didn't affect the team's performances, as first the Kiwis and then the Aussies were brushed aside with relative ease. The Australians did manage to win the 1950 Ashes series, but it proved to be a minor blip as a British side containing 6 new caps turned on the style at Leeds. 2 years later, it was the inaugural Rugby League World Cup in France.
It was a tournament that they were never expected to win, because the 1954 tour had just gone ahead down under, and a lot of the more experienced players came back. And because this was an innovation, and because it had just been sort of introduced by the French, who, you know, the staunch British didn't really think much of, they thought, oh, this is a tin pot competition, but it wasn't.
Indeed it wasn't, as Clive Churchill's Australia found out in the first match, with Barrow's Phil Jackson dummying over for a great solo try, before Lee's Frank Kitchen raced 60 metres to score in the corner and make it a winning start for the young Lions.
A lot of the regulars didn't go, and it was a very, very inexperienced team that went, with a couple of old players in, like Dave Valentine, Jerry Helm. Young players who became greats, like Mick Sullivan, came into that side, and they won against all the odds before very, very big crowds, at a time when rugby league was at an all-time high in France.
A 6-try demolition of New Zealand in their third match sent Great Britain into the World Cup final, where they edged out France in a thriller, allowing Scottish-born captain Dave Valentine to lift the trophy. And the success kept coming for the British team as another Australian side were put to the sword. But the British game was about to get even better, as one St Helens youngster was waiting in the wings for his international break after exploding onto the domestic scene.
Confidence, cocky, arrogance, great.
Bill Fallowfield, he was the chairman at that time. He run rugby league, and instead of keeping my mouth shut, being a young kid, I went in and said, "Who's the other 25 besides me?" And I don't think he was too happy. You know, I just think he got very annoyed about it. But I was a scrum half, you know, I was a cocky kid, but all you've got to do when you're cocky is go out and do it.
The 58 series, famous for the emergence of Alex Murphy over there, played against Keith Holman in the first test when Australia won. Holman, very ageing, experienced player, got the better of Murph.
Instead of running away from him, I tried to run straight through him. And I've got to be honest, he picked me up, he dropped me. He, as a matter of fact, there's not a part of Sydney Cricket Ground he didn't throw me on. And that was the saddest day of my life, because I thought my international career was finished.
Tom Mitchell took him at one side and said, "Look lad, you're a young kid, you've got pace, use it." And he did, and he made a fool of Holman after that. And he dominated the next 2 tests.
We sent this side out to Brisbane. The Australians just turned up to say, well, they was going to wrap the series up. We lost Alan Prescott after 3 minutes, not lost him, he broke his arm in 3 minutes, stayed on the field, never went off. David Bolton broke his collarbone in 7 minutes, he was carried off. Jim Challoner dislocated his shoulder, and Eric Fraser dislocated his elbow. So you can imagine we had 9 people on the field, fit players, no substitutes. And to me, this was the greatest match that ever there's been in rugby league.
Whiteley sends back to Tommy Harris. The one arm of Alan Prescott sends the ball over to Corralius. And here's Murphy breaking through for Great Britain towards the Australian 25, and a great tackle by Brown, and he stops. McTeague picks up for Great Britain, sends it across here to Sullivan, and Sullivan's gone in to score for Great Britain. And Great Britain lead by 10 points to 2 and playing a man short. Corellius sends the ball to number 26, Whiteley. Across field to Murphy. And Murphy is skirting through here. He's beaten off O'Shea. Southwood calls for the ball, an in pass. And Diamond's chasing Southwood, but Southwood's pace is too great for him. And Great Britain score another try. And Great Britain are shocking the crowd here, leading 15 points to 2. And now Whiteley sends the ball outside of him to Eric Fraser, who's making a good dash, but he's caught by the pants, and Holman rolls him into the ground. Whiteley runs downfield. Here's McTeague setting Great Britain on the attack. The ball's on the ground, towed through by Southwood. A favourable bounce for Southwood, and he gathers and scores for Great Britain. There's the kick, and Fraser raises the flags, and Great Britain lead by 20 points to 7. And this could be a winning stroke for Great Britain.
Vince Corellius, who was loose forward, great loose forward, he volunteered to go stand off, and the first thing he said to me when we got on, we'll work a little move, me and him, a little simple run around.
A great move between Corellius and Murphy 13 scores the try. Great Britain won the ball, Murphy passed to Corellius and back to Murphy, who went in between the posts.
That literally won us the match, and from then we went from strength to strength, and I've never seen and never played in a game which was as good as that. Never ever have I seen any people, if you'd have said to them lads, we want you to die for your country, they would have done.
This has been a tremendous effort by Great Britain, playing a man short and their captain playing with a broken arm. McTeague kicks the ball into touch, and the second Rugby League Test match is over. This is a test that will live long in the memories of those who saw it.
The third test was a little bit better for us because we had a full side. And we went out, and Sydney Cricket Ground, we absolutely annihilated them. And that was a great performance.
Ashton with a nice run here, looking for his winger, flying through, gets a beautiful pass outside to Southwood. Southwood going in for the try, unopposed, they can't get near him. He puts the ball down for the first try of the match. Great Britain 5, Australia 0 in the third Rugby League Test match. That shoots a long pass out to Terry. Terry goes with a good throw, a run here. They're going for him, but can't get near him. He evades a tackle after tackle. He's setting sail now for the Australian, and he'll go in. A beautiful try by the big burly English forward, Albert Terry. Britain go further ahead, leading by 12 points to 2. Here's Murphy making a great individual run. He whips past Clifford, flies for the line, and the great little scrum half from Great Britain goes in for his try. He's been the main thrusting force in Great Britain's side and scores a brilliant individual try. Harris a dummy half with a good pass out to Corellius. A quick pass then out to Sullivan. Sullivan flies down the wing, comes up towards Clifford. Only Clifford to beat now. He swerves inside Clifford. Completely leaves him. Runs up to the touchline now. They're chasing him, but he's too fast for them. He'll score again in the closing stages of the match.
You know, when people talk about Australians are great people. They love winners. They don't like losers. And they never lose much themselves. But they just lost on their own ground. So imagine what they felt like.
In Alex Murphy, Britain had unearthed a real gem, a superstar of his day. But the following year, Australia's Reg Gasnier was the new kid on the block. His superb assist in the third and deciding test threatened a kangaroo comeback. But despite that moment of magic, Britain hit back and would prepare for the 1960 World Cup in confident spirits.
Even the home spectators are saying give it to Gasnier after that. Oh, the England scores! Great Britain scored the match! Well, what a dramatic finish for Southwood.
The 60s kicked off with Eric Ashton leading Great Britain in the third World Cup, only 3 years after Australia had won the tournament. And Britain were boosted by the return of Vince Corellius, who had missed the 1959 Ashes series.
It back to Corellius, looking inside for Whiteley, looking inside for Murphy. Murphy going through nicely on his own. Murphy going on his own, and Murphy's going to score. There's the scorer, Alex Murphy, the greatest scrum half in English football today, and a match winner without any doubt.
You know, to kick a ball, good hands, good knowledge of the game, pace. He was just a good performer, and he certainly gave the referee some stick as well.
Britain humiliated the French in their second group match to set up a mouth-watering final against the Kangaroos.
Can the Australians hold out on this one? It's a lot of bad playing the ball. Brian Shaw, Corellius a long one, and it's to Boston,
Boston is one to beat, and Boston's into the corner for a try, the first try of the match scored by Philip Boston. Well, this mud, of course, slows the fastest of players round. McTeague, Cornelius, inside to Murphy. Murphy going nicely away, looking for Sullivan. Sullivan takes it. Sullivan will go into the corner. Sullivan's into the corner, and it's a great ground by Sullivan in the corner. By McTeague to Cornelius. Murphy, this little tough little lad, he joins the Air Force next week. In the Air Force, the rugby unit, he's not a good player. This is the boy. Davis is sliding away. Oh, and Sullivan stopped it. Well, that was a startup by Alex Murphy. As he goes into the RAF, so if the rugby union people want a good scrum half, this is the boy for them. He can play on dry grounds too.
People keep saying to me the game's a lot quicker now. No, the players are a lot fitter now because they're full-time professionals. But any one of them players that I played with, playing full-time professional rugby today, because they had the ability, would fly in this game.
Everybody had their own stars. You know, one night I might be Billy Boston, might be Mick Sullivan, another time Eric Ashton, because they were the great stars when I was a young kid.
Ashton's got Boston, and Boston's into the corner.
Littered with superstars, Britain would be a tough proposition for the touring Kiwis, who had a glimpse of Murphy's magic in a warm-up match.
And away goes Murphy. Murphy, the skipper, RAF boy, and away goes Murphy. Away sails over in that brilliant fashion that this boy Murphy can do.
In the third and deciding Test match, the Kiwis were totally outclassed as a rampant British side upped the tempo in the second half.
There's Herbert, first try, Dick Huddett. Cumbrian, big long lanky Dick Huddett. Neil Fox. Oh, he's interception. No, Dagnall. Eric Fraser up from full back. Trying to go down the middle. Eric Fraser going down the middle. He can't get into support, so he's split. It's a chase between Fraser. He bounds it right. Right for Eric Fraser, full back. Great Britain, full back. 21 points, Great Britain. Now there's the labourers of rugby league, as they're called. One time they used to be paid £1 less per man than the backs. But their union stopped it. Who's going to stop Murphy? Who's going to stop Murphy? There he goes on his own. Eric Ashton in at the corner. And what a very good try made by RAF man Murphy, scored by Eric Ashton.
Some of the all-time greats played in that era. The Murphys, the Eric Ashtons, you know, wonderful skipper, great tactical brain. The Billy Bostons, the Mick Sullivans, the Ike Southwoods, the Dave Boltons, Neil Foxes, Derek Turner, Cornelius, Whiteley, McTeague. You can roll them off, you know, and they were there. And then the 62 series that followed it, which I think many would, you know, argue that was probably the best tour ever.
It was so hard to get in the Test match that nobody wanted to be left out, and nobody wanted to lose, nobody wanted to have a bad game, and like I say, if you got in, you had to make sure you stayed in.
The first test of the 1962 Ashes was a British masterclass, with Dick Huddart leading from the front in a sublime performance.
Huddart grabs Parcell, turns him round and steals the ball. He makes good his escape, eluding Gasnier, Beattie and Rasmussen. But watch Parrish slow him down. In comes speedy winger Cleary to finish off the tackle. Huddart pulls away from Gasnier and goes through Parrish's tackle. After a long sprint, however, Gasnier stops in from behind and Lynch 9 lands on top of the Burley forward for good measure. Australia's 11th hour defence, however, only postponed the inevitable. A long pass by McTeague to Herbert, to Bolton, sees the two British centres Fox 9 and Ashton 1 handle before Sullivan crosses wide out for his second and Great Britain's third try. McTeague hoodwinks his rivals near the 25, passes to Wigan clubmate Ashton, who runs over, unopposed to score behind the posts.
After demolishing the Aussies at Sydney in front of 70,000 fans, Britain went to Brisbane to inflict more pain on the home supporters, who were left to drown their sorrows after losing the first two tests on home soil for the first time in 34 years.
Here's Gilfedder again, turning the ball inside to Ashton, then to Wigan clubmate Boston, whom Irvine cannot hold by one leg. Early Boston fends Beaters out of the way, beats a diving tackle by Summons to score in the corner. The highlight of the match was this spectacular save by Barnes when 16-stone winger Boston disproved some expert opinion that he couldn't run fast for more than 20 yards. Boston didn't score, but the try was only delayed a minute. Britain won the scrum and Murphy, dummying Smith and Banks, ran over without a hand being placed on him.
With the Ashes secure, Britain hoped to complete an historic 3-0 whitewash of the Aussies that no Lions side had ever achieved down under. But with Prime Minister Sir Robert Menzies in attendance, the Aussies were desperate to avoid such an embarrassment. It was sure to be a titanic struggle.
Great Britain gets moving again. Pointing to Edgar, who pushes off Summons, gets the ball to Murphy. Although Raper gets to him, Murphy turns the ball inside to Ashton to score between the posts.
After coasting into an interval lead, things went from bad to worse for Britain in the second half, with Mick Sullivan sent off for an altercation with Peter Diamond, before the already injured Dud Beattie stayed on the field with the sole purpose of provoking Derek Turner into a fight. And despite falling for the trick, Britain rallied to ensure there would be a dramatic climax.
From a scrum 45 yards out, Britain's half-back genius Murphy completely outthinks the opposition to score without a finger being placed on him.
He sent two of our players off. He scored a try in the last minute. A fella, Kenny Irvine, he was a flying machine, took a ball which was about 3.5 yards forward.
Irvine gets the pass, which Englishman protested was forward and touches down.
Put the ball down. The referee stood behind him, and it was falling a little bit off the tee, and he said to Kenny Irvine, put that back on the tee, it looks to me as though it's going to the left.
As Irvine readjusts the ball, only 2 minutes remain.
He replaced it and kicked it, and he beat us 19-18, and that stopped us from winning the clean sweep.
In he comes. Spectators behind the goalposts roar their verdict even before the flags go up. The full-time siren sounds as Australia is awarded the penalty, which Drake put into touch.
Murphy was undoubtedly the star of '62, but it was Australia's hat-trick hero Reg Gasnier who would steal all the headlines in the following year, as Britain were chasing shadows in the first ever floodlit match as the Kangaroos went on to secure a record-winning margin in Ashes rugby.
They came back over and absolutely annihilated us, and from then on they never looked back, and we didn't improve a lot. We kind of went into a little shell, which was unusual for us.
Ashton's up the ball, and Gasnier's in. Well, what an unfortunate day for Eric Ashton, and what a great day for Gasnier. 8 minutes gone. Great Britain, 12 men. Sullivan in the centre for Ashton, and the measures on the wing, and it's Australia in possession. And it's a chance for Fox. Backhand Fox goal. Everybody's chasing him. He's going to get there. He's not. He's going to be tackled. He's on. It's a try.
Great Britain took the lead in the second test, but the Australians battled back with 31 points in 25 minutes.
Another drop pass. Oh, Gasnier's in. Gasnier's in for a brilliant try. A drop pass and Gasnier's in. And Johnny Raper sidestepping. And Irvine must go. Irvine must go. It's a debacle.
With the Ashes lost, Great Britain hit back in the third test in more ways than one, in a game that witnessed 3 sendings off.
There. Darling on the right. Oh, somebody must walk now. Referee Eric Clay, unless there's so many of them. Hambley has been sent off. Hambley is sent off. There he is. See what he says to the player. Oh, Barrymore on the blind, and it's down for Diamond. Aye. Johnny Raper. And Cliff Watson has been sent off. Oh, there, hey, you can't do that, there. Now then, the referee, he was kicking at the ball, so they say, but he's sent off. He's sent off as Barry Moore. I hope there's enough soap in that bath. No, that's not fair, though. There's 2 Australians to 1 in the bath. Well, movement has been terrific from one end of the field to the other. Well picked up, Buckley. Excellently picked up. Well taken, Fox. Stopped it outside in. Inside to Fox again. And Fox is in for a great try. What a try by Fox.
4 years later and the Kangaroos were back at Leeds, but their Headingley hoodoo continued as they lost their 9th straight test.
Bill Holiday, watch the interception. Oh, he's got the Young. Can Young go fast? Young, can Young go? Can Young be John? Can Young be John? John is going down the post for a belting try.
Luckily I got selected in the first test at Headingley and I scored my first international try against Australia at Headingley, and we won that day, won the first test. Unfortunately they beat us in the next 2 tests, but it was just the experience of playing against Australia. It was just a marvellous feeling.
No score, Australia looking very strong. Peter Gallagher, this should be a try, and it's a try, a first try of the match and a very good try.
Britain were caught in a blizzard in the final 2 tests, but the emergence of Roger Millward gave hope that an Ashes success was not too far away. The 70s began with Frank Myler leading Great Britain down under, with a squad boasting 5 Leeds players.
We'd gone over to Australia in 70, we'd got a good side with us, and you know, we'd come all down the east coast there and we'd taken everything in front of us. Got to Brisbane and all of a sudden the Aussies beat us.
Without an Ashes triumph in 8 years, Britain turned the form book on its head to square the series in the 2nd test.
A nice kick. Really, if it bounces right for him, it bounces right for somebody. It's a try. It's a try. It was a kick by really but little Roger Millward followed up. Oh, this is a chance. This is a chance. It's a great chance and he's going to take it. And it's a beautiful, well taken try. Oh, nice one. Oh, well taken. Atkinson, has he got a chance? Atkinson half tackle, but Millward is there, and Millward is in for a beautiful try.
20 points, 2 tries and 7 goals. And everything just seemed to go well for me that day, and that was it. And I was lucky enough that I equalled the world record for most points scored in an Australian Great Britain test match.
Millward, the star of this match, kicks a goal.
The 3rd test, you'd never forget days like that. You know, it was July the 4th, 1970. 70-odd thousand Australians in the City Cricket Ground, all really shouting for Australia, and along we came and spoilt the party.
The charge, this could be something if Hartley can keep going with it. If Hartley's over, it's over for a try. Oh, really gone in brilliantly. Oh, to the try under the post. A beautiful try made by Reilly. Oh, made by Reilly. Millward. There's a chance for Shilbottom. Chance for Shilbottom. Chance for Shilbottom. And now Atkinson in for a try. Atkinson's in. A great run by Shilbottom. Cliff Watson. Oof. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Arthur Beetson, and he sent him up. Arthur Beetson has been sent up. 2 minutes to go. No good dropping a goal, I don't think, unless they're absolutely certain. Oh, nice chance. Oh, nice chance for Millward. This is a setter. Millward, what a daring boy. And that's the 5th try for Great Britain, and what a finish.
They're only like us, we like to win, but that day we got it, and it was very pleasurable being able to run around the cricket ground with the Ashes trophy. That was very, very good.
The transition into colour wasn't quite so good later that year, Without their injured star man Roger Millward, Britain slipped to a narrow defeat against an Aussie side containing a Roman Catholic priest in centre John Coots. And punches replaced handshakes at full time.
And there the whistle goes for time. And there the whistle Sims involved in an incident. Watson involved in an incident. Riley involved. Hartley, even Coulton, the player of the match. And this is the excitement at the end of the day. But they'll cool down in the bath.
Heartache and headaches for the Lions, but they didn't have to wait long for their heavyweight rematch, as Clive Sullivan led Britain's crusade into the 1972 World Cup final.
You've got to try to accept that all that hard work that you've put in, right from being a young kid, you know, tackling people on gravel, and you're there, you've made it. And you look down at that badge and you think, wow, and it's worth it.
There's quite a bit of kerfuffle going on. You can expect a bit of that in the World Cup between Great Britain and Australia. Well, it's quite obvious the referee is wanting to leave well alone, if that's the right phrase. The forwards are beginning to go a bit strong. O'Neill O'Neill's in for a try. O'Neill's in for a try. Give him the try. O'Neill went down the blind side. So for a prop forward who had just been having a little bit of algebra there, he did very well. Great Britain have got to get these loose footballs as the line around. Don't want to try before half time. They'll find it difficult. The fourth tackle coming up. What a tremendous try, and he was dying after that.
Tremendous try, swooped it up and just raced away, and I think and that made it 5-all.
It's the big strong forwards like O'Neill and O'Reilly that's causing the trouble. Oh, a good run indeed by Ward. Beatson in for a try. Beatson must be in for a try. Oh, why, nearly knocked the ball forward. Mike Stevenson did a great job in chasing him and almost caused him to knock the ball out of his hands.
It was 10-5, and it was a really hard struggle. There was very little football played. It was a little bit of nastiness. There was a few bust-ups here and there, and the scrums were a little bit naughty at times, but I think it was about 7 minutes before full time. Brian Lockwood, who I played with in the under-21s, a few years previous, and I said, Brian, you know, inside, go that way. He did. He stepped. The Aussies kept going, passed inside, and I strolled over.
Sullivan managed to take it well. Still running Sullivan. This should be a chance. Inside, it's in the try.
He's a good footballer, actually. You wouldn't think so, would you? But he was a good footballer. I think what happened a lot is that bald head used to blind everybody when sun went on it, so that's what made him even better.
The referee doesn't seem to have looked at his watch yet. What are you doing now?
It was a great achievement against all the odds. And I think when it's against the odds, I think you get more satisfaction from it.
Great Britain have won the World Cup by holding on 10 points all because of the better scoring average in this World Cup.
I can remember Stevie Nash, who I roomed with for most of the tour. He played that final. He had 3 boils on his butt, on his backside, and they lanced them 1 hour before he went out for the final. I don't know how the guy played. There was blood streaming down his shorts all throughout the game. I mean, he must have been in absolute agony. And when the final hooter went, after we'd played the 10 minutes either way, and we knew, of course, that because we'd not lost in the competition, a draw would be sufficient. And I can remember we were just jumping into each other's arms and sort of saying, and he kept saying to me, we're world champions, you know, we're world champions, and it just wouldn't sink in.
Clive Sullivan, there's the Coupe du Monde, and delighted Paul Charlton, and up they're going to get Sullivan on the back, and if they've got strength, they do a lap of honour.
100 minutes of rugby league and against the odds success after running their blood to water, surely a reception fit for a king was waiting back in England.
There was no one there to meet us apart from one photographer who had to come up to a few of us as we were sort of carrying our luggage, and he looked at the badge and he said, "Excuse me, are you the guys that have just won the World Cup?" And they had Clive Sullivan, myself holding the trophy, the 2 try scorers, and Terry Clausen who'd kicked the goal. It was an amazing thing, you know. It's no ticker tape, I'm afraid.
The late 70s, and Britain led by Roger the Dodger.
That's what it's all about. That's being a little lad growing up in Castleford, in Walden Lane. You've arrived at the pinnacle of your sport. You're captain in your country.
A great rugby man. Loved his rugby, lived it, breathed it, ate it.
You know, I used to love the game. And I think if you love a thing enough, you'll get on with it.
After missing out on the 1972 triumph through injury, Millward led his side into the 1977 World Cup final.
Millward ducking, weaving and dodging, and Pitchford going through. Pitchford still bursting on, giving it to Gill, and he gets a try. Gill scores to make it 13 points to 10. Fairbairn to kick 13-12, so there's only 1 point the margin. They're keeping possession, they're knocking on a nice little kick through by Millward, and the referee giving the penalty to Great Britain. Apprehensive looks by manager and coach Parker and Watkins. If he kicks this, it'll possibly the win for Great Britain. Just 1 point, 13-12. No goal. It's not reached, and no goal, and Australia breathe again.
After winning another World Cup, Australia thought the upcoming Ashes would be a walkover.
The Australian press called us Dad's Army, the team, because you look at the front row, something like Cliff Watson, Jim Mills and Brian Lockwood, and there were all people in there that were in the 30s, you know, and when they'd added the age up, it was well over 100.
Dad's Army or not, the Aussies didn't like it up 'em. Experience won out in the second test.
Oh, nice one. Got Roger Millward. He's going to be a thing if it takes it over and gets the ball down. He gets a try. Important try. Stewart right. Nice burst there by John Joyner. John Joyner giving a long pass out, and he scored in the corner to Stewart Wright. John Joyner made the Stewart Wright score it, and there's a moment of joy.
That joy, though, was short-lived, as that Test victory would be Britain's last against Australia for a decade.
Good run by Les Boyd. Oh, a strong run. Oh, what a try by Les Boyd.
The unsomethinables, the invincibles, untouchables, unbelievables.
I went over to watch the Australians, and I was amazed at the difference in the training. The difference in the training to what I'd done, the differences in the training to what I'd watched in England at that time. I thought, and I came away from Leeds thinking, my God, we'll never beat these, how can we beat these? And I thought, no. And I went off in the car to Hull, because Great Britain were training in the afternoon, and Johnny Whiteley had been brought in as the coach, and Great Britain ruled on this field. And John Mullen said, right, before you start, just do a couple of laps of the field, warm up, right? But they did this couple of laps, and I have never seen as unfit an outfit in all my life. In fact, Johnny, who must have been in his 50s, ran with them and beat the lot. And I'll always remember, he looked at me, John, and he went, and I thought, good God, we had no chance. Village.
Oh, it's a good high ball. Here's a chance, Melmaninga. Oh, what power, what size. Oh, good movement, Peter Sterling. Steve Rogers, Kenny. And it's still going. Wayne Pearce, he's going for that line. Well, that was a magnificent try. And well might that Australian man be happy. He's excited, and so he might well be. Full time, into injury time now. Greg Brentnell, one man, two man, he goes past. Oh, it's too easy. It's too easy.
The Aussies were riding high then, you know, they kind of was at the top of the mountain, you know, they were looking down on us and we were kind of looking up saying, I hope we ever get back there.
It was this arrogance that you can't tell us anything. We invented the game, we know the game, you can't play rugby, it's just a blip. It wasn't.
Bradford Northern's rising star Ellery Hanley instilled hope into the British game, bursting onto the scene ahead of the 1984 Ashes Down Under.
It's still going, Ellery Hanley. Oh, and it's still going! And it's still going! Goodness gracious me, this could be the try of the season! What a try from Ellery Hanley!
I was quite a utility player really in terms of being adaptable to many different sports really, and that's why probably rugby league suited me in the end, and then I grew into it in the fact that I used those different skills from different sports in terms of ability, agility, hand-eye coordination, and I really made a success of it.
Hanley, Lydon, Schofield, Goodway, Des Drummond, Neil Holding. You know, we had some really good performers in and amongst in that tour.
Despite a valiant effort, Britain lost the 1984 Ashes Down Under, but returned home to make amends, with Hanley and Gary Schofield the centres of attraction against New Zealand.
Great Britain, of course, one down in the series, lost the first test, must square it in this match. This big 16-stone number 8 there. Get the ball, yes. To Hanley. Looking for support. Oh yes, he's got Schofield with him, he's going for the line. Can he get there? And he does, yes! A tremendous try. Excellent centre play there between Ellery Hanley and Gary Schofield. Oh, good run from Fieldhouse to Schofield. He's going for the line, Nicol Howard's going with him. Yes! Oh, magnificent try! And let's give credit there to Gary Schofield. And I think this 3-0 scrum advantage is telling for Great Britain, Alec.
Yes, well, I think you can put that down to Jeff Gresham there, because everything that's happening is happening for him. What a magnificent try as we speak here. Schofield was under the sticks, and what a fabulous try.
Yes, and a hat-trick for Gary Schofield. Pinner, oh, lovely dummy from Pinner. He split them all wide, he's got Hanley with him. Schofield, he's going in for his 4th try. Yes! 4 tries in a test match against New Zealand, and that is a tremendous performance from Schofield.
Well, Scully was special, you know, and Scully is special. You could score tries out of nothing.
You've got to say that he had all facets to his game. He was an unbelievable player, he was an inspiration as well. I enjoyed playing with him as well.
2 policemen were left to pick up the pieces from a 10-man brawl in the 3rd test, as Britain were left in a daze. But a super sub came to the rescue.
This is dramatic, it's way out on the touchline. It's 27 yards out, and what a pressure kick. Lee Crooks, the substitute to take it. 6 points to 4 to New Zealand. Everything hinges on this kick. He lost it. Oh, it's a magnificent kick! A smile on Harry Pinner's face. 6 points each, and what a way to come back in a test match.
After coming back from the dead to square the series, hopes were high that the new look British team would be able to stop the Aussie machine, who touched down on English soil 4 years after massacring Johnny Whiteley's side. But with Mal Meninga not even being able to make Captain Wally Lewis's side for the first test, few pundits gave Britain a chance.
Fox. Ooh, that was well taken. Oh, beautiful ball here, Joe Lydon. He's got Henderson Gale, can he beat Lindner? He's got Hanley, he's going for the corner himself. Oh, this is a magnificent try!
Joe Lydon's scorching try threatened to cause an upset, but it was soon business as usual for the Kangaroos.
Oh, well, that wasn't a very good ball, but it's a fortunate one. And it's a chase, and nobody's covering across. O'Connor, he's on his own, he must score, and he does. A try from absolutely nothing. Oh yes, and there's that man Noel Clean to Gary Jack, and he's in again.
After being thumped by 30 points at Leeds, Britain made 5 changes for the 3rd test, with Andy Gregory amongst the new faces who helped restore some pride.
But this is still dangerous. They've got Lindner running, and he's in, no problem.
That's a good ball from Pinner. That's what he's in for. Now here's a golden opportunity. Gary Schofield, he must score. He does. Now that is a first-class try. That's as good as any try we've seen in this series.
Unfortunately, I played in an era where they had just great players. They were strong in every department. I'm not going to hold anything back. Basically, they were just too good for us.
England had a small pool of players in terms of that we just didn't have the strength in depth. We relied on the tried players, the regular players, the tested players, and we didn't have room really to experiment.
I think they're starting to realise now after a long time that fitness is the ultimate in the sport they play, because the Sydney sides are so perfectly fit, whereas English sides tend to be a little bit lazier. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. They've got some very skillful players over in England, and they're the players such as Ellery, Hanley and those type of blokes are the guys that give Australia so much trouble, and if they ever do get us fit, well, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Back in England, one side was dominating the domestic competition.
You know, Wigan probably had the best 25 players in the country. They realised quicker than anybody that if you want to be the best, you've got to have the best.
Warrington would give us a tough game, St Helens would give us a tough game, but you wouldn't have that competitiveness week in, week out, all season long.
Despite Wigan monopolising the championship, hopes were still high that Ellery Hanley's Lions side could be competitive in Australia.
Being captain was absolutely magnificent, you know, to say that you're in charge of a bunch of guys who you think to yourself that they'll follow your example.
88 was a tour where we had a good coach in Malcolm Wheeler, and we had a good squad who could possibly beat Australia and come back with the Ashes.
But England running with plenty of purpose now. Out it comes for Hume. Taking it on to Ellery Hanley. Heading for the corner. Hanley, he'll score! Oh, yes, sir! Great Britain scored the first try!
It was much closer, that series, you know, than anybody thinks. That was when we had a lot of good players.
The first test in Sydney, we was actually winning at half-time. We made a couple of mistakes, crucial mistakes in the second half, which cost us the game.
Oh, Australia going! The green and gold's in top gear. Linda, heading for the line of fires, but yes, sir, Australia have gone!
We went to the game at Lang Park in Brisbane. I'm not proud of it, but it was in the last minute. Weren't going to change the score of the game in any way, but I did actually get sent off.
Australia come away with it. Sterling with a thick pass out for ET, and Gregory with a high tackle again. And Eddie House has a move, and he's got to go, and he has gone, and it's about time.
What I liked about Andy Gregory, he wouldn't take a backward step from anyone.
Well, we got to the third test in Sydney, and I always remember walking back from training, and they didn't have a team.
We had horrendous injuries, people flying home, people coming in.
There was a headline in one of the Australian papers, and basically it was, "Don't go to the match today, you are being cheated," because of the state of the Great Britain side.
Going into that particular game, we found ourselves that we're in a no-win situation, let's play.
We just sat down and said, like, look, you know, we've nothing to lose here, you know, we're professional players, we're playing for our country, have a look at your badge and have a bit of pride in your shirt. Let's go out and give our best.
They're in the danger zone now. Let's see if they can put a string of passes together. Yes, they do! Andy Gregory, he gets a ball out of there in! Oh, that's all right too! Martin Hoffia in for Great Britain. Some smart work there from Andy Gregory, and the Union Jack flies here. Gregory spins it out for Ward. He gets it back for Gregory. Gregory straightens the attack up. If he's got some runners, he has in Hume. Ball loose, Gregory there to snap on it. He's darting around, he's elusive, this little man. Loose pass back, it comes on to Ford. He's a stepper forward, winds up Ford, he's going to get there. Oh, to win again. Oh, there's some good play there that time from Ford. He can step this fellow, I'll tell you. On for Lewis, he's going to run Lewis. Only a couple of metres out. Can he get it down? Oh, yes, try. Oh, Lewis so strong. And Malcolm Reilly, the Great Britain coach, anxiety written all over his face as Great Britain now are inside Australia's 22. Andy Gregory, the little chip kick. They've rehearsed this many times at training. Through the runners come. Henderson Gill, and it's a try. Well, it's worked again. Great Britain leading 16-6. Australia need to score here desperately. Backo, he's in. Oh, the big fella maintains his record and cracks them and gets the try Australia needed. This is Lachlan. Lachlan winds up, Lachlan straight through, Australia still going, Lachlan, and he's got support too, unloads it, oh look at this, Henderson Gill winding up, it's a chase, Gary Jack comes with him, but that's a great try, oh Great Britain in, and he does a bit of a boogie, and the Union Jack flags here have gone absolutely crazy.
There was only a few minutes to go and I looked at the clock and I'd just got announced that I was man of the match in the game.
Hume.
So I went to dummy half and I picked the ball up and there were two Australian defenders in my way.
Andy Gregory.
I pushed them both off and then I ran.
Andy Gregory makes another three.
Passed the ball to Mike Gregg.
Still going, Andy Gregory's got Mike Gregory with him.
Who went 70, 80 yards up the field.
Gregory, has he got the legs? Down he goes, he'll get there.
That was it, we'd won a test match in Sydney.
Mike Gregory has done it for Great Britain under the post.
That shocker blonde hair, blowing in the breeze there, sprinting down. He had a fire racing alongside of him who could have left Mike if he'd got the ball. But he knew, I'm scoring, I'll show you. He put his head back and he went.
Andy Gregory makes another three. Oh, still going, Andy Gregory's got Mike Gregory with him. Here's another try coming up if he can link up. Gregory, has he got the legs? Down he goes, he'll get there. Mike Gregory has done it for Great Britain under the post.
And I punched here and I thought, we've done them in going backyard.
Unfortunately, Britain couldn't emulate their Sydney success the following week in New Zealand and consequently failed to make the World Cup final. But they only had to wait a year for a trophy, and it came in the most dramatic of circumstances.
Kelly Shelford, that's a good one. The wind swirling. Hampson's underneath it, all well done by Hampson. Well, that was stupid. And he sent Hampson off. Absolutely stupid in a test match. So, Great Britain, what a handicap. One down in the series and only 12 men. Hume again. To Newlove. Big lad this, only 18 years of age. From Featherstone Rovers. Only been 12 months in the game. Oh, that's a good ball from Edwards, the short ball that Alec Murphy was talking about. To Gregory, he's got into a fire. To Sean Edwards, he must score. That is wonderful rugby. Oh, it's a charge down. Can Goodway make it? He will do. Yes! Huge grin on his face, and that surely has sunk the Kiwis.
After squaring the series, Britain were in sight of glory.
Great Britain never lost a test match here at Wigan against New Zealand. They've only been 4, they've won 2, lost 2, and there's Sean Edwards. Now then, he's got Martin O'Fire on his inside. He must transfer the ball, and there is O'Fire. That's a try and a half. The showman supreme of rugby league. And there is Edwards again, first receiver. Directing operations to Skerritt. Powell, that's good rugby. Tate. Has Newlove taken the wrong option? No, he's not. He's got David Hume with him. To O'Fire. Still going to David Hume. Alan Tate. Will he score in the corner? Yes, he does. Oh, a wonderful try. Support play at its best. Great Britain have waited so long for success. We sensed a victory in that third test in '88 down under in Australia. And now the first victory over the Kiwis on home soil for 24 years. 1965, there's the hooter. Great Britain are the winners. Delight on man of the match, Martin O'Fire's face. 2 convincing wins over France last season. And now a win. And they were the men who set Great Britain on their way. The teams led by Mike Gregory going up to receive the British Gold Trophy. And isn't he delighted? A kiss of the trophy, a wave to the crowd. And I think those smiles in the crowd indicate how long we've waited for this.
We all remember Mike Gregory, and he was a true warrior, a true captain, great leader and fantastic, and I'll always have fond memories of Mike Gregory and always call him a great friend.
The 90s began for Great Britain just as the 80s had finished, with a series win against the Kiwis.
And straight between. The deadlock has been broken by Gary Schofield.
Gary Schofield was the man of the series with his winning drop goal in the first test, followed by a super show in the second match.
Here's a run by Gary Schofield, the big dummy right between the uprights. He sucked them in well and truly then, Gary Schofield. You just cannot give this man a centimetre because he'll take a kilometre. Schofield, got away from Peter Brown, Gary Schofield. Here's Dennis Betts, a try underneath the post. What a great comeback by this Great Britain side. Schofield directing the traffic again. Calvin Skerritt out wide. Skerritt breaks a great break. Back inside to Gary. Schofield into Darryl Powell. Great Britain, Martin O'Fire's there. They won't catch Martin O'Fire. Caminito, Martin O'Fire. He's going to score his first try in New Zealand. Look at Malcolm Reilly. He's happy.
And why wouldn't he be, after lifting Britain's fortunes with a first series win down under since 1979? But the real test for Malcolm and his men was yet to come, as the Aussies touched down later that year, hoping to repeat the feats of their predecessors. And ahead of the first test, Jason Donovan did the neighbourly thing, jumping on the Aussie bandwagon.
In 1990, I played for my country at Wembley, Australia. We walked out to Land of Hope and Glory, and we had 60, 70,000 British fans singing. And you talk about the hairs on the back of your neck sticking up, but it certainly frightened the Australians.
There is the fighting kangaroo. That's got to be put down this afternoon. Big try scorer sets those fans in absolute delight. Try from absolutely nothing. The spectators were a long time for this, and the green and gold finally have to bow under.
We won that. We went through, give the ball to Mal Meninga, and that was it, game over. And I said to myself then, that was the nearest, in 6 series, that's the nearest I'm ever going to get to winning the Ashes.
In the end.
2 years later though, and the Lion roared in the second test in Australia.
Ellery Hanley had just pulled out of the tour. As we were flying to the airport, they announced on the coach that Gary Schofield had taken over as the captain. And we went there and nobody really again gave us a chance, but we absolutely marmalised the Aussies. Some superb football.
The Great Britain side get a chance to attack again, and Schofield's legs are cut from under him by Meninga. They'll work the open side again. Clark dummies, he's through, he will score! He will score, and it was so easy.
Dermott from dummy half. Good ball up the middle, Edwards! He kicks! A fire's coming! A fire! They still get it! Another Great Britain try! 9 metres out, Great Britain. They throw themselves at the line. Skerritt. The Lions looking for one of the biggest upsets in rugby league history. Platt, switch, Edwards. Schofield kicks to the end goal. It gets away, another one!
4 straight penalties to Australia. They work at the blind side. This is Lindner stepping. He's over the line. He can't get it down. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. That's brilliant stuff from Bob Lindner. Oh, what a drive. Now it's the 5th tackle. So Australia has one more shot at it. Wide to Langer. Langer to Walters. On the charge. There goes Chris Johns. And Australia are right back in it now.
Edwards with the feed. Big blindside. Schofield and Steadman want to use it. Meninga's there on Schofield. Steadman. Unbelievable! Wagner's out there. Steadman. Not afraid to stay up the line and do some work like a front rower. Schofield. Great skill. A fire. Eddinghausen and the great chase. He will not get him tonight. Magic.
When they lose, that's the best. Because everybody and everything is blamed. It is never the Australian team. It is such a thing, it's such a body. The referee was bent. England had a ball that didn't blow up. Such and such a thing. It's always this. There's something wrong. You can never get them to say, we got hammered.
The two sides met again that year in the World Cup final at Wembley. There was only one try posted, but unfortunately it was the Kangaroos who pounced in front of a record crowd for a Rugby League international.
Walters, the good ball to Renouf. Renouf's into the corner. Oh, it's a try! A try for Australia! A hero in Australia, a hero when he was at St Helens. Mal Meninga, the world champions. 1992, the World Cup. 10 points to 6.
Tears for Gary Schofield, but it wasn't long before Britain were winning again.
Great Britain really have got to take some points out of all this possession and all this territorial advantage. Shaun Edwards. The kick for Jason Robinson. Oh, he's in! Yes! Jason Robinson in at the corner. His first try on his debut at Wembley. And here's a chance again to Connolly. He puts the kick forward. It's Robinson in the race. The youngster's there again for his second try. Jason Robinson.
Following Jason Robinson's dream debut on the wing, his Wigan clubmate Andy Farrell got his chance to impress in the third test as the home side ran riot to complete a 3-0 whitewash of the Kiwis. The start of a phenomenal test career for Farrell.
Whittaker. Lomax. Kemp with the pass, and Jonathan Davis intercepts. Now then, Davis, he's quick, but he's got Blackmore coming across. He's got Botica there, but Davis has the pace for a magnificent try. Edwards. The switch finds Clark. Oh, he's got Chris Joint with him, one of the fastest second rows in Britain. Well taken by Edwards to a fire now then. Surely Martin a fire will streak for that corner. He'll outpace them all. He does. Gary Schofield to receive the trophy from Derek Noble, Executive Director, Courage North. The John Smith Trophy. And despite Rick Carley's damage and in pain, he's delighted to hold that trophy aloft.
Ellery Hanley took over the coaching reins the following year as Britain welcomed the Aussies back to Wembley. But the reception committee awaiting the Kangaroos wasn't too friendly. Shaun Edwards sent off, Britain down to 12 men, but cue an heroic British performance.
And sensation here at Wembley. The skipper sent off in the first John Smith's test.
Shaun got sent off at Wembley and knew we had to rally round to beat the Australian side.
Oh, Goulding coming away beautifully. Now then, he's got a fire on his outside. The fire's gone inside. Oh, surely I thought he had space on the outside. Reality of Jonathan Davis. Sheer magic.
You have to pay tribute to Jonathan. I mean, to play both courts.
England's narrow defeat in the World Cup final during the mid-1990s was to pale into minor significance as the world of rugby league braced itself for a revolution.
Newlove tries for the line himself, and Paul Newlove, he takes matters into his hands.
Rupert Murdoch's bid for exclusive television rights to a European Super League was accepted, but he faced stiffer competition in Australia, where the game was split into two. It left the international game in crisis, as only those players who had pledged their allegiance to the Australian Super League could be selected for the 1997 series in England.
Lowe's
With the Super League era bringing with it full-time professionalism, the competition was already proving to have a positive impact on the international game.
Right now here, the Super League is getting stronger and stronger, and the teams are getting more competitive and much more balanced. In the bigger picture, you'll have a stronger international side.
After watching the Kangaroos lift the 2000 World Cup, Great Britain adopted the policy of, if you can't beat them, join them, by appointing Australian coach David Waite.
I think if I'm the best person for the job, it's a help. I think the combination of my role with my support staff and the players that we've chosen is a good mix for 2001 Ashes series.
After the September the 11th attacks in America, the Aussies initially cancelled their trip due to safety fears, but the tour was back on again at short notice.
There was a situation there where we weren't coming, and then you basically turned your body off from footy. So I think that's going to help us. Having that couple of weeks where we just was totally relaxed.
Could he catch a cold in the first test at least? Because people are saying this is the most underprepared Australian team ever to arrive here.
I might get the sniffles. I don't know about a full-blown cold.
Lockyer. Oh, that's a chance now. Now then, here's a chance. McConnelly. Oh, will he do? Will he pick it up? Yes, he will. He gets it to Tryder. Oh, sensational Tryder from Peacock. Jamie Peacock. Sculthorpe. Beautiful break by Sculthorpe. Can he get to the line? Oh, yes! Terrific try by Sculthorpe. There he goes. Suddenly these half-backs coming along. Oh, beautiful pass. Here's a chance now for McDougall. He's going to win in the corner, surely. Price. But these green and gold very, very rarely let her try through. It's hard work. Sculthorpe going inside. Sculthorpe is over at the side of the post. St Sculthorpe has scored again at the side of the post, and that surely will give Great Britain this first Guinness Test.
It's always very, very proud to think that Great Britain can perform at its highest level. The only problem is that we only just win one out of a series of three.
After conceding another Ashes series, Britain travelled down under in 2002 for the first time in 10 years. But the lack of preparation showed as the Pommies were pummelled.
At least you'd have thought that we could have given them a game, and it was very sickening, if you want to put it that way, from being a member of a Great Britain side. There's nothing worse than to get beat by the Aussies.
It was certainly a match to forget, but Britain had the chance to regain some much-needed credibility 4 months later as the Kiwis came over.
A winner-take-all situation tonight. If the Kiwis win, they will collect the Albert Baskerville Trophy, awarded for the first time to the winners of this Don't Drink Pride Test Series. But in the event of a win for Great Britain in a tied series, they will retain the trophy as the first holders. 2 tackles remaining. James Lowe in possession. Sculthorpe, beautiful dummy, and Sculthorpe scoring for the try under the post. Wonderful play from the stand-up. No hesitation from referee Stephen Clark, and is that the try that will level the series? Well, the Lions certainly think so.
Britain were back at Wigan the following year to take on Australia in a thrilling test match that packed a punch.
I'm reminded of Shakespeare's Henry V's words before battle. He that hath no stomach for this fight, let him depart. And that includes referee Steve Ganson in his first Ashes test. There'll be no room for faint hearts down there on that pitch. Dennis, a big test for Mr. Ganson, and we can see that already.
Well, he started straight away. Adrian Morris come flying out the line.
His hand's been flaying out this side, as you see here. He's caught him straight across the chin. The referee's missed it, the linesman's seen it. This is test match football, Ray.
And he's off. Well, sensation here in this first test. A high tackle in the opening seconds from Aidan Morley. He's off.
12 men after only 12 seconds, but Britain rallied to put in one of the most heroic performances of the modern era.
Good play here from Great Britain. Sean Long. Can he get it across? Here's Connolly. Carter's in at the corner. And Brian Carney on his debut is in for a try at the corner. The ball beautifully taken by Senior. He's over. And Keith Senior is in for a try. Wonderful take by the Big centre. The fans are going wide.
Britain were desperately unlucky throughout the entire series. The Australians scored in the final minutes of each game to win 3 tests to 0. A chance missed by Britain, but a new coach would freshen things up.
In 2004, the opportunity came around to be head coach, albeit on a part-time basis. And I snapped their hands off, because it's a very, very proud moment when you get offered that job and you have the facility to coach the best players in your country.
Newton. Good play down the blind side. Oh, here's a chance now. Peacock's got the ball. Can he get it inside here to Terry Newton? Newton to Gleeson. Can Gleeson go all the way? Yes, he can. Oh, beautiful run by Carney. Now then, can he beat the fullback? He's going for the corner. Brian Carney's in. Oh, a wonderful run by Brian Carney. Into the last minute now of this first half as Willie Mason is going charging through. This is what Australia do, and he scored. And Great Britain have slipped up in the closing minutes. Sivoni Saber, there is Gower again. Does well to get the ball away. 2-1 down the left-hand side here, and Rooney's in at the corner. Oh, a charge down. They've got to get hold of that ball. Australia have got it. Have Great Britain missed their chance? In the last minute, Australia are in front of the post. Berrigan puts it out. Here's the chance now. Kim Hall is running. Still going back. Great Britain are tired. They're moving forward. But here's a chance for Australia now. Coming out wide with Willie Tonga. And Mooney's into the corner. And Australia scored in the final seconds of this match.
Brian Noble's side had fallen at the last hurdle in his first match in charge, but there would be no mistakes a fortnight later.
You can just sense it on the players. They want to beat Australia. Everybody wants to beat Australia. I want to beat Australia every day of the week, but unfortunately there's only a few of us have the opportunity to do it.
They have hammered this British line. Here comes Kimorley. It's a steepling kick. It's Rooney underneath it, and Rooney on a post. First blood Australia. Good play the ball by Senior. Here comes Newton. Trying to take the one himself. Good offload. Long in support now. Dashes and darts into the gap. Eventually pinned down, but Great Britain are working themselves closer. Sculthorpe. Here's Gleeson. Well matched. Carney. Sculthorpe again, up to the line with a little kick. It took a ricochet, it's missed! Not by Newton! Terry Newton with a try! Here's Newton. Oh, helps it on its way. There's Bailey. They are asking plenty of questions, but there's only one tackle left. Newton. Now Farrell, along the line. Reina with a step! Reina's in, is he? Just about gets it down. Newton. Here's Long. Gleeson. This looks promising for Great Britain. Back inside for Maguire. Lots of support here. Newton. No fielder. Can he finish it? Ankle tap, but crawls to the line. Wonderful score by Great Britain. And it is confirmed. What a moment! What a score! This is Kamali. Here's O'Mealy! Oh, he's gone right through the gap. Wellens couldn't hold him. Great Britain need to hang on here for a famous win. Scotty Hill trying to work through. Oh, he's given it away! It's Keith Senior! Senior puts the foot down. If he makes it, it's a win for Britain, and he is going to make it. Keith Senior with a fabulous try. Surely now Great Britain are through. Happy to run the clock down, knowing that victory is theirs. Sculthorpe taking it in. Fitzgibbons just giving him a bit of the rough stuff. Sculthorpe doesn't like it. Subtracting a few hangers on too here. Well, they're still going. O'Mealy's getting involved too. Well, the fists are flying. Australian tempers boiling. It doesn't matter. Australia are coming off second best.
The players had a lot of belief that night. A lot of things clicked for us, and I thought it was an outstanding show from us, and we thoroughly deserved the win. You know, I think we do too much of glorifying what the Aussies can do. It's there in paper what they do to us pretty much all the time, and you know, the opportunity we get to crow, we should be.
It was Britain's first victory over Australia since 2001, and it had ended a run of 7 defeats. But the home side choked on their big night.
Britain on the 5th tackle.
This will go up, this will go up.
Lockyer with a kick. Carney's there. Oh! He's
Try.
lost it!
That's
He's
a try.
done another try!
Tonga got it.
Well, for averaging a point a minute, and here's another one. Beautiful pass out of it. Can Lockyer go all the way? Wellens is tracking him, but I think he's got the pace. Now then, has he got it over? Did he get that ball over?
I think he did.
The try was awarded, and Australia continued to play champagne rugby. It had been a painful lesson for Britain, who failed to reach the final the following year, although Brian Carney's brace of tries against New Zealand gave the home fans some joy.
Ellis with the offload, out of the tackle, onto Chev Walker again, searching the fringes. Carney takes it. Oh, what a terrific score by Brian Carney. Keith Senior is the man who's up at dummy half. He might fancy a double himself here. Quick hands, terrifically quick hands, and Carney now, will he take them on for base? Yes, he will. Oh, watch him fly. Brian Carney steps back inside. It is the try of the tournament, surely. And Brian Carney is back on top of the world.
A great win, but it was the end of the road for Britain, whose start to the 2006 Tri-Nations was equally as disappointing, with Brent Webb ripping them apart.
Now then, can he go the length of the field? Oh yes, I think he will. He's racing down for a try.
And after being caught in that web, Britain travelled to Australia in need of a miracle to keep their Tri-Nations dream alive.
I do remember the pre-match speech of that Sydney game. I could see the players were a bit tense and a bit, you know, so I said, listen, you know, certain things we've got to do here. There's one and there's two, and I couldn't remember the third point I was making, and I said, well, for the life of me, I can't remember what the third point is, and everybody burst out laughing. It was just such a pressure release.
Well, it's a massive, massive night for Jamie Peacock and the British Lions as they come into this arena.
It is the time to stand up and to be counted. There's a big hit from Willie Mason. He said he was going to mark him. He said he picked out Stuart Fielden, and they're having a good old verbal battle.
Fielden has gone down. He has been flattened by Willie Mason off the ball, and Britain are involved in a punch-up, and it's Peacock. But the first punch was thrown by Willie Mason, and it's on.
It's difficult because you want to be out there playing. And then you see the first 2 or 3 tackles and you think, I think I'll be quite happy to sit in the commentary box.
Something you should never do to a man as big as him. You should never give him the first punch.
Sometimes I have to say, I'm telling you, no, that's shocking. That's terrible, but crowds love it. They love a punch-up.
If in doubt, get the first one in and don't worry about the second one, because if Willie Mason does to you what he did to Fielding, you wouldn't have to worry about the second one.
Fielden is a little groggy. Long will dab it over the tee. Was hit late by Mason.
Was he ever? The judge said
he was taken out by Mason. And Sean Long is another British player in Cloud Cuckoo Land, courtesy of Willie Mason.
Well, I've got to be honest, he should have walked. You know, the guy, you know, I don't know how he stayed on the field.
It's like the Colosseum, you know, we should make our big sporting occasions like that. You know, fill them with people, give them some anger, give them some passion, I think is what we're saying, and people will accept it. They don't like foul play and they don't like dirty play, but what they do like is passionate play.
On the charge is Wellens. So close. Great Britain referee signifying this is the last tackle. And here is Long. Oh, interception! Hornby! Hornby has got Inglis within. And Greg Inglis. History repeats itself. A length of the field try last week in Christchurch. A length of the field try here in Sydney for Australia. The Australians ahead by 6 points to 0, and Roby for Great Britain, and he finds Stuart Fielden, who has been in the thick of the battle from the very first minute, and the very first right hook he took from Willie Mason. It is with Long now, and Long has found a gap, and Long attacks them. Ball comes in field, and Wellens will score for Britain. Wellens scores for Great Britain at St Helens, 1-2. And Long made the break, and Wellens was the man in support. And Australia had nothing in defence to stop Paul Wellens. Roby finds Peacock, and Peacock's over, isn't he? Jamie Peacock. This will be handed up to the video referee. Have Great Britain scored at the start of their second half? The captain believes he has.
Fully deserved as well. Quick play of the ball, they went far too high on the big fella. He dives down into the corner. Does he get it down? That's try time. That'll be TRY, and it will silence the majority of the crowd here at the Aussie Stadium. It is fully deserved. He loses control but gets hold of it just at the right moment. There's fingertips on that, and boys and girls, that is TRY.
Here comes Berrigan, they're going down the wing, and they've found the winger. And away they go. Lockyer's on the inside. Lockyer is away, and Lockyer will score for the Australians. Scores will be level in a moment. Here's Newton. Ooh, that looked a bit forward. That did look forward to Adrian Morley.
Cameron, wait!
But Britain do want to get on with it quicker. This is Sean Long. Finds Leon Price. Price then back on the inside to Lee Gilmore. Gilmore! Gilmore for Britain, yes! Ricky Stewart barking the instructions to somebody. That's Cameron Smith. Here is Lockyer. Lyon wanted it into the corner. What a tackle! What a tackle by Adrian Morley! Here is Tate. Now it's with Cameron Smith again. It goes wide to Willie Mason. Further wide to Berrigan. And Berrigan gets it out to the corner. Inglis no way through. Leon Price standing his ground. 4 tackles gone. Willie Mason in control. Sivanasiva. Newton flew out of the line. And Long got a kick to it. And Long will pick it up for Britain. And Sean Long has got Hornby ahead of him. Here is Roby. Roby with Thaiday on his back. And Thaiday holds him down.
Keep your calm. They've got to keep the calm, Great Britain.
Here comes Ellis. This is Wellens. They have the man on the overlap. It's Rayner. It's a British try for Gareth Rayner. It's surely a British victory.
That was my last year with the Roosters, and to play at what was my home ground for the last 6 years, to get the win there over the old enemy was fantastic, and you know, that'll live long in the memory.
It hadn't happened for 17 or 18 years, I think. We subsequently fell off the pedestal the week after when New Zealand got us the week after, but you know, those people that played in that Sydney Test will live with it forever.
Noble stepped down after the Tri-Nations, leaving a vacancy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here this afternoon to announce Tony Smith as the new Great Britain coach.
Excited and proud and very honoured to take up such a prestigious position. I think there's a lot of talent here. I think there's a lot of talented young players, and it's a matter of giving some of those young players a chance.
Smith's first match in charge came against the French at Headingley. Gardner stands and waits. A dummy half.
Oh, and he's seen a gap, and he's got the pace to exploit it as well. Here comes Gardner. Hodgson in support. Hodgson races away and has Maguire there too. It is a thrilling end-to-end try for Great Britain. Wilkin was tackled, but it's a quick play the ball, and Roby's the man to prosper from that situation. Sinfield over the top, Burrow on again, and touchdown by Stephen Wild. Roby, Wilkin, Sinfield, good ball back inside for Morley. It's one for the skipper. Set up on a plate by his teammates, but having been given the opportunity, he was not going to miss. Great offload by Graham Wilkins, having a look around, soon who is the likeliest in support. It was Melling, it's now Burrow. It is a third Great Britain try. They are running wild now.
With that taste of success, Britain were confident of more silverware in the Test series against the Kiwis. Bradford prop Sam Burgess made a dream debut.
Bit of width now. Try scored himself. Oh, Burgess has scored. The young 18-year-old on his debut.
And after his try, Burgess rocked the Kiwis, leaving them all shook up for the second Test.
Ooh. And down he goes again.
Was John Clark from the Warrington club from dummy half, and driven forward by Peacock, who's got the gap and scores. 1 minute and 12 seconds play, and Jamie Peacock has the first try of the night. Tackle 6 is coming next, so Burrow gets it away to Maguire, whose delicate little chip just asks one or two questions. It was one-on-one. O'Loughlin's allowed to play it on. Burrow runs here, takes on the defence, out to Gleeson. Gleeson straightens up, and Gardner with a finish. And what wonderful centre play that was from Martin Gleeson. There's Morley, talking about physical. Oh, and he's made the break, and he has support, has he? But he just got his ankles pulled from underneath him by Mannering. It's a terrific tackle, but Price out towards Senior. Senior gets it onto Maguire. Maguire back to Rayner. Rayner back inside for Wellens. Wellens has Burrow. It's a fabulous try. An absolutely fabulous Great Britain try.
Pleasing to see that we moved the ball around and we attacked and we attacked and we attacked. I think it also at the beginnings of seeing a pack emerge.
With the series wrapped up, Britain went to Wigan in search of a first whitewash in 14 years.
Number 14 charging towards that line. He can still get over. It's a try. Oh, he's got it away. And Keith Senior